This is who is buying and who's selling. I would leave that to you to look at and decide, but I just want to point out that, look at that top left, look at Canada. We have a small role, and we have basically one customer for our oil. Now this is the gas, and natural gas is a different story, but not that different. I think what I would need to point out here is the natural gas flow in the U.S. So as you can see, they're exporting, and there's not much that they're importing compared to oil. And that's because they are very rich in natural gas resources. And they're actually one of the largest producers of natural gas in the world right now. So, those things you don't hear every day. But what about the demand? Who wants this oil? What's fueling it? This is ExxonMobil. Everyone has their own view. I looked at 4 or 5, and they look similar. But this is what ExxonMobil thinks. They think that the demand for energy is going to flatten and might even go down in North America and in parts of Europe. Now look at China, India, Latin America, Middle East. Look at those guys. That's where the growth's going to come from. Those are the hungry countries for our natural resources. And in terms of China and India, they don't have much of the process today. I put these two because I just like them. This is the intensity of energy usage around the world. This is how much the world is consuming. Now look, Saudi Arabia, they're one of the biggest consumers of oil. And that's followed by North America. Now let's look at natural gas. This is oil. Well, if we could drink natural gas, we're drinking natural gas. So Canada and Russia, and I think that's fueled mainly by heating. But we use a lot of natural gas that's produced in the world currently. It's a good thing that we have them, because if we didn't, then we would be in a not really good shape. These are 2010 numbers, by the way. It's in order to lag to get good numbers. So probably in, I think around May, all of these are going to, June, all of these are going to be updated. So you'll see the updated picture. But since then, this is the 2010 numbers. So we talked about China and India fueling this demand. And this just gives you some of those numbers. So China first in consumption of of the natural resources, followed by United States, European Union, and India being fourth. Have you seen this at all? Because these two went around in emails for a while, and this just shows. I don't know why it doesn't show up as well as it was on the computer, but it just shows the percent of energy, basically the flow of energy in the U.S. So what it's telling you is that you have coal, you have natural gas, you have crude oil, you have nuclear power, you have renewables, and then from all of these sources, you get a pretty good split between transportation as a consumption, industrial, commercial, and residential. And industrial, commercial, residential, that includes your heating, that includes your electricity, that includes all of those aspects.
Are these numbers for Canada?
Yes.
Oh.
doesn't do these things as often as the US does. NEB, I think the last time they did something even close to this is 2005. Now, this is oil. And what's interesting in this, remember transportation and the other one was a good like 25%? Look at here. Transportation is the single largest consumer of oil in the US. And this picture doesn't change if you think about it in global terms. So it's transportation that is using up all of the oil that's being produced. We're addicted to oil. And the more cars that are produced in China, the more cars that are being driven in India, the more it would fuel this addiction even more. So this is what happens to a barrel of oil. So we keep talking about barrel of oil. 42% of it, after it comes through refinery, would turn into gasoline. 25% diesel, and then you have lubes and asphalt and fuel oil and other things. 72% of it on the right, that's the usage. 72% of it is going to be used in transportation, 22% industrial, and 1% in electrical power. That 1% is a small number, but it's an important number because a lot of the renewables are going to be replacing that 1%. And this is the natural gas story. It's a pretty good split. And I think, I don't have a slide in here. I couldn't find it because there was a really good slide, a picture somewhere that showed a case of if natural gas, if you're able, with government policies and the whole natural gas highway, and if we put that infrastructure in place, we can actually use natural gas as a significant part of our transportation fuel, which is going to change both this picture and the picture before that. And natural gas, by the way, is a cleaner fuel for transportation, if you like. So I'm going to stop here. And now I want you to ask me questions or ask each other questions, or if there's something that I highlighted in here that you thought is interesting, just maybe bring it up with your classmates. No?
I had a question about the one chart that showed, I guess, oil usage, and Saudi Arabia was really high, and so was Canada, and Russia was trying to make sense. But I was wondering why Saudi Arabia would be so high.
Yeah, I don't know. My guess is that they're very inefficient. That's my primary guess, because they're hot, they're small, like it just doesn't make any sense. But how I could convince myself that picture was right was that it's probably that they're inefficient.
Just following up on that, maybe it's because when they produce energy, they also use a lot of oil in the process.
Well, in refineries you do, like it's not, I can't, like it does have a big role, you're right, but I can't imagine that being the only thing, because they basically, like, at least now, they stick a straw in the sand and they produce oil. We have to spend a lot of energy and time and labor producing it, but for them, it costs them like $4 or $5 a barrel, and that's with all of these high salaries that you hear people get over there, $4 or $5 a barrel to produce their oil. It costs us, like mining, if you include capital costs, it costs us $70, $80. They're really lucky in that sense. But then there's less work for engineers because it's not.
Do you have any speculation as why Russia, which would have probably a similar climate as Canada, and consumes so much less energy than we do?
No, let's go back. I don't think so, because I thought natural gas, they're pretty high up there. See, like they're the same intensity as us in natural gas. Now, oil, I think that